YouTube. Greetings, YouTube. This is Longbow in 1080p. So, once again, I was wandering about the old hardware store, and I came across something that I think will make a pretty devastating bit of slingshot ammo. Let's take a look. But before we do that, I'd like to go over some of the previous technologies I've built. The first modified slingshot ammunition I made would involve just a nut, a bolt, and a washer. And when trimmed and soldered together, they turn into these nasty little projectiles. I believe Jorg Sparov invented them. The Bone Crusher. Quite effective and quite painful. The next little piece of tech I've experimented with was using concrete nails and some string to make little flechettes. And here they are. Just several pieces of string tied around the heads of the nails, and I also sharpened them a little bit. They were quite fun to play with. Now, moving right along was like the nails, but instead of just a nail, I used a nut and a bolt and some string and made larger flechettes. These were quite nasty, had a lot of power behind them. Unfortunately, because of this nut here, they would penetrate into the target, the nut would hit, and then it would bounce back out. So, how do we correct for this? We use something a little sharper, maybe just about as heavy. And of course, something more dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, although probably mostly gentlemen, meet the Longbow Flechette Mark III. These nasty little projectiles are built quite similarly to the concrete nails, but you'll see they have a nice flattened section, and there's also a hole in here for easy string attachment. Of course, they didn't come like this. It took a little bit of grinding. What they originally looked like are these things. These are what are known as lag screws. Basically, they're used to install suspended ceiling. You just kind of screw that up into your floor joist, and then you can suspend a wire from here and hang your ceiling off of that. But hey, you can also stick string in there, tie it up, and sharpen it, and shoot it with a slingshot and cause some devastation. So let's build one of these. Yo! I'm sure you can see that I'm using a new camera for this video, and I gotta tell you, it really sucks. And well, here it is. This, my friends, is the Vivitar DVR 949 HD. It's probably the crappiest video camera I have ever seen. Some of the features it boasts are 0 optical zoom, it's powered by AAA batteries, and the display doesn't flip around, so if you want to do a selfie, that ain't happening. Oh wait, that's my lunch. Here it is right here. This thing is a piece of junk. Those are its only qualities. HD 1080p, a touchscreen, and what's that say? Oh yes, 4x digital zoom. Wow. Digital zoom blows. Yeah, that's about it. All I gotta say is I'm glad I didn't pay anything for this. I actually won it at a Christmas party. So this is probably the last video you'll be seeing with this thing. Oh, another thing that sucks about this thing is the microphone, believe it or not, points exclusively rearwards, so you can't hear what you're shooting at. Like, my goodness, guys, you really dropped the ball when you invented this thing. Since I got you here, I just want to point out that whenever you're using alternative slingshot ammunition, it's a real good idea to wear a glove, because, well, as you'll see later on in the video, I nailed myself in the thumb with one of these spike things, and if I wasn't wearing a Kevlar glove with another glove on top of it, I would have done some damage to myself. As it stands, I've got a little bit of swelling going on here. Nailed myself right in the bone with one of those spikes. But I'm doing all right. Well, back to the 1080p awesomeness, guys. So, this is our goal. it starts out like this. So what I've done, I've taken some length of yarn here. It's about 20 centimeters worth. And there's maybe 30 strands. So what we're going to do is bunch this up as tight as possible by twisting it. Actually, we'll give it a bit of a trim too, just to make sure all the ends are even. So I'll twist that up. And we'll pop it through here. Pull through as much as you can manage at first, which is not going to be all of them, and then twist it tightly. That should bind all the strings together, and by pushing it farther down over the twisted string, we'll snag all of them. Mostly all of them. I missed one. Good enough. So we'll now pull that through until they're about even. And now we've got to secure this in some manner. You could put tape around it, you could tie it in a knot, you could pass over it with a sewing machine, but what I'm going to do is just use some little strips of rubber. I cut these out of balloons. So we'll take the end of our strip, just kind of place it right there, loop that back over and pull it tight. Now we'll just wrap this around and secure the streamers onto the screw. Once we have a number of wraps, I can just kind of change the way I'm holding it. And just spin. Okay, so we'll cover this flat section about halfway. Give a couple extra windings just to make sure it's nice and well secured. Now I'll take that little piece of string that was left over. Whoops. Make a small loop there. Pass the rubber over that loop. Once. Twice. And as I said, balloons are a little stronger than TheraBand, so I'm going to go over a third time. And then in through the loop. Now I just pull the other end through, just as though we were tying a slingshot. And band. Get in there. Perfect. The next step will just be to grind that down on the grinder. Grinder. Alright, so now that we've got the string here, it gives me something to hang on to while I'm grinding away at this. So I'm just going to take the threads off by first squaring it, and then I'll flatten out the angles and sharpen the tip. So I've got this water here to keep the thing cool. So, one side flat. Two. And 3. Or 4.
I've got 4 flat sides, so I'll just take out the little bumpy corners. Now I'll do some finer polish, I think. That's pretty good for a rough job. I suppose you could call that finished, but if you're neurotic like me, you like a bit finer polish. Here's the finer grit side. Just going to give it a very light polishing with this, and then I'll switch to hand files. Bueno. Whiteness. So after a little bit of filing and sanding with this 220-bit paper, got a pretty decent polish on there. The file removed all the jagged bumps and the paper just smoothed it out a bit. So now we're ready to fire these things. Oh, now that all the handwork is done on this, it's all polished and whatnot, I'll cut the strings here so that they're equal in length to the point. I want to make sure they're all the same. There we go. I believe we'll start out with a lightweight slingshot, because these are rather lightweight. This one has 2 bands of TheraBand blue. They're, I believe, 5 centimeters wide at this end and 2.5 at this end. Something a little bit heavier. I don't know if this is going to be able to fire them faster, but it's got, I believe, there's 6 centimeter bands at this end, and there's 4 pieces of TheraBand black in each of these arms. That's meant for firing 20 millimeter steel balls, so I imagine I'll get some finger slaps from that one. But they should go pretty fast. So, allons-y! So, here we are ready to fire these bad boys. They're fired in the exact same way as you fire the little nails and these things as well. You place them in the pouch, point upwards. The only difference is with these is you have to put the center of gravity of this flechette in the pouch. That happens to be right about here. So I'll insert that there. Give it a good pinch, and let's give it a shot. Yeah! I've been avoiding using this particular slingshot because I'm afraid that a fork hit will destroy it, but these things are light enough, and hey, I guess this is a special occasion since I just hit 1,000 subs, that, hey, why not risk destroying this thing for some entertainment value. Sorry, I ended up running out of film there, and also I had a band snap, so instead of shooting them with that one, we'll shoot them with the Wolfsbane slingshot. So we'll see how many of the 7 I can embed in the target down there. It's about 7 meters away from my current position. So, round number 1. Did not embed. Number 2. Embedded, but not in the target. I will count that anyway. Number 3. Misfire. We'll try that again. Did not embed. And I did so much better the first time around. Unfortunately, it had catastrophes ensue. What do we have? 4 or 5? Let's see. Failure. At least it works some of the time. Like that. No, I'm not getting the same speed out of this slingshot that I was getting out of the other one. So we'll build a lighter, faster slingshot and try that. So basically, here's what happened. I managed to get 5 shots off with this thing, and they all embedded the God Killer. But then I realized I wasn't recording. So I took the one shot that you saw, and on the second shot, the bands broke. And unfortunately, I don't have any more TheraBand, because my distributor is out for the week. So what I did is I took the bands off of the Wolfsbane, and I stuck them on this here God Killer. They're quite a bit stronger, so I didn't want to put them on this one, because I was kind of afraid they were going to break. So anyway, the God Slayer is now equipped with 4 pieces of TheraBand black on each side. And I made another band set for the Wolfsbane. This one is made from some nice heavy-duty pallet band or moving band, whatever you want to call it. It's very thick, quite rugged. I'm interested to see how this one works. But we'll start off with the God Slayer. I'm just trying to see if they're going to embed the cannon there is just for fun. I managed to stick it in that. That's bonus points. You win the internet. We've got the picture-in-picture going on up in here. This is my other camera, which is situated back over here somewhere, behind the chair. So we're going to see how many of these little bad boys we can sink into that board and or can off in the background. Using the God Slayer. I'll just, that one's bent. Yeah, some of these last time when they embedded in the board, they got kind of bent. I don't expect that one's going to stick in, but we'll see what happens. It's still stuck in. I like these things. They seem to be a lot more nimble than my previous attempts. They stick in the board a lot more frequently. That made the floor. My bands are going to snap soon. All that or what? Pretty simple solution. Now it's got 3 bands of their band black on either side. We don't mess around here. Stuck in the door. It's got to count for something. pouch failure. So we'll switch to the Wolf's Bane. I love this rubber. Ow! Pretend that didn't happen. Try again. Right on. We'll see in a second if it actually stuck in the can. Actually, you will probably be able to see it in the picture. Alright, here's the final one. We'll see if I can hit the can a second time. Nope. But every single one of them that hit the board actually stuck, which I'm really happy about. One of the ones that hit the floor actually stuck in there too, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.